All right, pre-show shenanigans recording a week before Christmas. Next week we'll be recording on Christmas Day. That will be exciting. Everett will not be at home for that recording,
It'll be
so that will
exciting for
also just be
you.
interesting in general.
It'll be exciting
But
for you.
we are a week out from Christmas. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas to everybody that celebrates. But it is time where it's the annual debate. It's Christmas season officially right now. You will not get any judgment from us if you're blasting your Christmas music or you got the tree up, you got the lights up. You won't hear anything from us. But Everett, when is it too early? When is the official day that you're allowed to start listening to Christmas music? Because I think I have my opinion. I think I have my answer for the music. For the lights
So
situation,
lights
that
and
could be different.
decorations, I think it's different. All right.
Yes.
So personally, all right, there's a gray area for the music. Okay.
Yeah. Let's start with the music. Let's start
I
with the
think
music.
that if it's like you listen to it once, maybe twice in the span between Halloween and Thanksgiving, maybe 3 times, like
Oh
it's
yeah,
not like
I won't judge you for that.
You can play it like a couple of times, like that's
No
fine.
problem.
But
I'm
when you're
talking
starting
playlist.
like the playlist and you're hearing it throughout like the day, almost like multiple days a week, post Thanksgiving. All right.
Yeah, yes.
You can listen to it, here and there until Thanksgiving, but like when it becomes the primary music choice and over your other playlists, it's
Okay, I'm now starting to think
Thanksgiving.
as college students, this timeline might be shifting. So this is what I'm thinking, because most college students, maybe there are some weird colleges out there, but for most colleges, you have your finals after Thanksgiving pre-winter break. That's most colleges.
Most.
So under that scenario, when I'm about to enter my finals week grind, there's no way I'm bumping Christmas music.
Oh, I was
There's
bumping Christmas music last week.
that'll take me out of my rhythm. I need to be listening to some hardcore.
All I'm saying is I did better with the Christmas. I like kind of did a little internal analysis. I had exams where I listened to Christmas music and exams where I didn't. I did better on the ones where I listened to Christmas music.
Okay,
That's
so
maybe
maybe we can break down some type of graph comparing
can we
the
fuck around and find out
slash decreases in average score with or
without Christmas
now,
music.
This is a debate. Now, I did not intend to go down this path, but for me personally, before I take a test or a final, I need to pump myself up a little bit. In my opinion, there gets to a point where there's diminishing returns on studying more. Let's say it's the night before you're cramming. Wait, hear me out. Hear me out. It's the night before and you're cramming. Okay. I don't know. I'm just spitballing. Let's say there's 8. Sure, let's make it an even number. There's 10 units of stuff you need to review for this final, and you are starting the day before. Now, the way I study, yeah, bold. Don't suggest this. But no. Let's say you get through around 7 chapters, okay? You got 3 left over, but those are the 3 most recent chapters that you remember better than the first 7. So you get through all your review stuff, you check the time, and it is 3 a.m., okay? In my opinion, now, you could have a different stance. In my opinion, you are better off closing the books, go get your sleep. Let's say your final's at noon, okay? So you could wake up earlier, try to wrap up those 3 things. Regardless, I think you get to a point of diminishing returns. And I think this is a me thing, but I get to a point.
We got some opportunity cost analysis here.
If I want to truly exceed on this final, I don't need this additional studying. What I need to do is gain a little bit of confidence before this final and convince myself that I don't care that I haven't thoroughly reviewed these final 3 chapters. It doesn't matter because I'm so confident in myself that it do not matter. So for me, before I go into a final, before I go into a test, let's say I'm an hour out, I will start listening to the NFL Fox on theme song over and over. But that's
like a stand. If you were a guy, like I feel like that's pretty like synonymous with I'm going into my exam. This is what has to happen.
Now I tell this to people and they start crying laughing. They are dying laughing.
Like I feel like that has had to have crossed. If you're a guy and you watch the NFL, like that has had to have come across your mind at least once or twice.
I imagine that one opening scene of Cam Newton in Seattle seeing the Legion of Boom running out of the tunnel. That's what I envision myself as if I'm Cam Newton about to go take on the Legion of Boom.
I see the Fox robot. That's what I see.
Yeah, no, trust me, I see that as well. When I hear that, ba-da-dum, I just imagine that giant techno robot coming out of the screen.
That's the first thing that comes to my mind.
But I will be honest, like that was what I listened to during finals.
See,
NFL Fox on repeat, which is the best NFL theme song, by the way.
Yeah.
Blows ESPN and CBS out of the water.
But I only play that while I'm in between, like when I'm like 2-3 minutes away from the final, from where I'm taking it.
Like your final walk to the classroom. It's literally
my walk to the classroom.
Now that's also a time where it needs to be.
That's better. I don't play it any other time other than when I am literally walking to the exam. Like,
now, if I were to think of my two other like go-to hype up songs, which they're a little unorthodox, I would say.
Okay.
But my first one is No Church in the Wild. That bass line gets me.
Okay.
That bass line gets me going.
Okay.
When I hear little throwback Kanye, Jay-Z, and Frank Ocean, that gets me going. But the other one, which is slightly weird, and most people would be like, that doesn't quite feel like a hype up song. I'm not even sure if you know this. Feel the Love by Kanye and Kid Cudi. That song, oh yeah, I'm dropping.
You're feeling the love.
I'm dropping numbies on this test. If I got a little, I could still feel the love. That gets me going. All right. If I got Kid Cudi saying, I can still feel the love in my ears, well, I'm gonna feel this 98 on this test.
For me, what my progression goes, all right, I'm walking, I'm out, I'm going to the exam. As I'm walking, it's the NFL theme song.
Yeah.
I'm picturing myself. I see the robot. I'm picturing myself, you're getting off the bus, suit on.
You get what I'm saying though, that Cam Newton, he's suiting up, run out. Like,
see, you got him on the field. I got him while he's walking to the locker room. That's
so.
The
are you
thinking
here. Like
the locker room
Joe Burrow with the Cartier glasses walking into? the locker
no,
room?
that's more my vibe.
Okay,
I get there, and I go immediately from that to more like I'm like playing like middle by DJ Snake. Like that's then the vibe that I go to, not like super hype. Like I'm trying to bring down, because we got the little performance curve, right? Too much stress, you're gonna do bad. Just the right amount of stress.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
We're gonna do well. All right, that's a psychology thing.
Now, personally, when it comes to me, hey, you know what they say. You don't know how you're truly going to be until you're in the crucible
in the exam.
itself.
No. When you're in the exam, you start staring at a question and you're just looking at it blankly. You're like, I swear to God, I remember going over this, but I have no idea what's going on right now.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, like, if I'm trying to put myself in that, this is the worst thing. This is the worst possible thing, and this happens to me frequently. So I just had to test. I just had a final that was, in theory, 3 hours long. After about an hour of that final, I had a song stuck in my head that I was listening to before. I don't remember what the song is. I don't exactly, but I don't know this for fact, but I'm going to guess it was like Hideaway by Chiesa, if you know that song.
Yes.
And that shit was in my head. And that's one of the rare scenarios where it's like, I genuinely, for me to get through this exam at my maximum potential, I need to take a 5-minute break, listen to the song in completion, and I could just put it away. But
the only problem is
you obviously, hey, I don't know how ballsy you guys are out there, but personally, I do not have the balls to just whip out my phone.
I'm not pulling out our phone. We're typically required to throw it on we either can't have it in the classroom or it's like across on the other side of
USC.
The room.
They probably should implement that program if you are looking at the back row students during any final exam at USC, but they don't do that. They do not do that at the University of Southern California, and cheating is encouraged there, I would say.
Oh, okay.
But yeah. Did not talk. Okay. Back to the Christmas lights talk. I was saying the day after Thanksgiving is acceptable, but we had a way better conversation there.
No, it was lights and everything. I think. Well,
you can put them up early November.
Yeah, no lights, just the lights. We're talking like those white lights, whatever. Yes. Like you can start putting. You start seeing them do it in public, then all right, you go ahead. That's fine. But we're talking about like. You're bringing out like an inflatable snow globe.
Yeah.
Right, that's
the inflatable Santa, the inflatable reindeers,
that's post Thanksgiving. That's post Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah. Like that's like second week of December type shit.
So what have we learned today? All right. You can put lights up early November. You can somewhat listen to Christmas music.
You can listen to a Christmas song once a week.
Maybe a couple
for the month
Christmas
of November
songs here and there up until Thanksgiving. Then
once or two a week.
Christmas music might help while taking exams.
Maybe, to be determined.
Grant and I both visualize the Fox Sports robot when we're going to take our exams.
Mine's more so Cam Newton, but the robot, yes.
I get the robot. I have the walk up. You have the standing waiting for the walk out.
Yes.
And USC encourages cheating. That's
yeah. I mean, if you have seen that TikTok I made about Amon-Ra being an academic All-American, you know.
Well, people say it's fake.
Say it's fake news. But hey, go ask Amon-Ra. We'll find out if that's fake news or not. But okay. All right. What a pre-show. Time to get into the real stuff, though. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to an extremely important episode of the Waterboy Podcast. Today it is episode 179. And the first step to enlightenment has been completed, Everett. The Spanos family.
Wait a second. Are we over half a year?
From what?
365. So we're over. Are we officially over
a year from what?
I'm saying you could listen to us for over half a year every single day.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
We're past
that milestone.
I'm just realizing that. Well, actually, no.
I think it was a couple months ago is when we hit our.
We
started this in like January 2022.
I think 183 is where it would have to be. 365 divided by 2. So we're almost there.
I mean, there are some things slightly weird though, because at one point we were just 1 a week. I don't know when we went to 2 a week to get those numbers. We'll have to dive into it. But
I'm just counting this solo episode.
The math isn't mathing. All right. We'll save that shit for a different day. All right. That was way too complex. The enlightenment stage is almost here, Everett. Okay. The Spanos family has finally fired Brandon Staley and Tom Telesco. The Tom Telesco part's the key part here, folks. Tyler Glasnow has signed a 5-year, $135 million extension with the Los Angeles Dodgers. And we have some transfer portal updates before the early signing window opens on Wednesday. So next episode, Thursday's episode, we're going to have a lot to discuss on the transfer portal updates and signing day. So that's going to be a big one. But MLB, we're going to start off with the MLB hot today. After his 5-year, $135 million extension, Tyler Glasnow is now a Los Angeles Dodger. He is inked up. The Dodgers currently, as it stands right now today, are $13 million over the luxury cap. So that is how things stand right now. There are some ways the Dodgers could possibly mitigate this, but I don't know how many buyers will have for some of these players. So,
I mean, it's kind of what's going to have to happen is you're going to have to basically not necessarily pay them to take them, but you're going to have to be like, hey,
you kind of are. Yeah.
But I'm not saying like we're giving them cash considerations. I'm saying we're going to have to say, here, take Chris Taylor and take one of our better prospects, and we'll take some fucking depth piece just so that the money is gone. So we're going to lose whatever trade essentially we do to get rid of them, which I'm expecting is going to be what we do. I don't think they're going to be on the roster.
Well, this is the thing. Like if we're talking guys, so Chris Taylor, in luxury tax numbers, he takes up $15 million this year. So he's our 5th highest paid player this season.
To be essentially like a platoon rotation.
He is a platoon guy. Yeah. So it is not worth the value at all. When we signed Chris Taylor to this extension, we were not under the impression that there would be a universal DH. And so pre-DH rules, we'd have to do way more switches and stuff. So I understand the value of having utility men on the team. But now with a universal DH, the value of a Chris Taylor, the value of a
who has also not been playing well. Kike has been playing well.
Yes, but it's more so just the thought of paying those utility guys.
Can we get the contract numbers between CT and Kike real quick?
So CT's getting luxury tax numbers, which is what matters, $15 million a year. Kike this season, luxury tax numbers, he is down at.
Because that's the comparison.
Kike Hernandez is currently not signed to the roster, and if I were to guess, we are not going to keep them.
That's why I asked you if we had, because I didn't think that we had, but
he would be extremely cheap though. But like Chris Taylor, that would obviously be, a big answer if we could get him off of our contracts. But as you were bringing up, we're likely going to have to give up one of our top prospects to get another team to take his contract. So it's really not that big of an option. So the way I look at it now is the Dodgers might just be spending 1-year deals and they will accept blowing over the luxury tax this year. So I was looking in past years. I believe the highest we ever spent in a single season was 2021. We had a
was that the Scherzer Trey
$290 million payroll that year. We were like $100 million over the luxury tax.
We're still doing pretty well right now. A few years after that too.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And last year we were under the luxury tax. I believe the Mets, the Braves, and the Padres were over the luxury tax last year. And if you're over the luxury tax for consecutive years, then the penalty stacks larger. So because we weren't over it last year, our penalties won't be that great this season, which Yamamoto is still on the table. Like we can go give him $300 million.
I don't think it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter if we were going to get stacked penalties or not. Yamamoto would be on the table.
Yeah. From a financial perspective, the Dodgers are setting up to go over.
That's the thing. If we go over it this season, my assumption is we
already are over it. So,
but I'm saying, we stay over it. That's what I'm saying is if we stay over it, my assumption is going to be next season we will offload those kind of crappy contracts like CT and whatever. But I know
Chris Taylor's under contract next season.
Yes,
so it'll be harder to do it this year.
I would be surprised if Chris Taylor, if there's not somebody who if Freeman does not try and go trade CT before the season starts. The other thing that I'm going to be interested in too, though, is Max Muncy. I know we just signed him to a new deal, but he is older, and I'm pretty sure it is a decently sizable contract for him for the third base.
Honestly, not too bad. So we signed him to technically a 3-year extension, but the last year's a club deal. But this season, Max has taken up $12 million in the luxury tax. Next season, he'll be making $12 million in the luxury tax too. This is the way I look at it, though. With the way our lineup is kind of constructed, we are pretty lefty heavy right now. So Ohtani's a lefty, Freddie's a lefty.
So here's my other question, though.
A lefty.
Here's my other question. Now, we went over this before. So Will Smith obviously is coming up on his contract year, right? He's still an R, but he's coming up on his contract year.
He is on the team for after this season another 2 more years.
So here's my question.
Locked up on
I know we just signed Muncy, but would it be worth seeing if we could move Will Smith to third base? You can bring up Dalton Rushing to be another catcher. Cartaya.
I just don't know if he can play third, but that might actually be what we're looking at.
The best idea, because the original.
The question is though, do we even want to pay Will Smith third baseman?
Well, here's the thing. As you said, we have him for 2 more seasons, right? Whatever.
Yeah,
that's going to be
counting this
3 seasons. So. That's going to be the biggest issue is within that time span with how the luxury tax works, right? After we get past that, when CT and whoever else is not a problem, we don't have to really worry about that. But between now and then, when we have to make financial moves, okay, maybe a Max Muncy situation, maybe a CT situation, right? If we can move Will to third base, that kind of solves the luxury tax problem, because he's still on R. We have him for a couple more years on R. We can bring up a catcher who prospect wise is our best prospect, and then see how things are, right? And I know people are always like, well, Will Smith made the All-Star as a catcher. He's still a good catcher. His frames are a problem, and
he's so bad at framing. Hitter. And this is another thing which we can't exactly dive into the numbers on this, and I don't have number, but I'm convinced Will Smith is just one of the most predictable game callers in all of MLB. He just calls the most predictable fucking pitches of all time. And Austin Barnes is awful. He's so bad at hitting that it's no, you cannot be in the lineup. Kershaw, stop bitching that you need Austin Barnes catching for you. Just fucking accept that Will Smith is the catcher.
That's why it would be nice to have one of these younger guys who are good at that.
Well, this is the thing. I have no idea how good. Well, Cartaya is dead to me. but I have no idea how good rushing is at catching. I have no
neither of us do.
How good he is at literally catching.
The other thing too, though, is let's play the hypothetical here, right?
Like for reference, Kevin Parada already has a faster pop time or quicker pop time than Will Smith.
But let's maybe bring him home.
He's not a Dodger fan. He hates the Dodgers.
Oh fuck. All right, never mind then. Please God, don't tell me he's like a Giants fan or some shit.
Angels. So.
All right. Okay. Well, then now I have to feel bad. Now I have to feel bad.
Like he's really sad. Shohei's a Dodger. Like really sad.
But I mean, look, even then, you can sign a guy to a vet minimum deal. Like you still move Will Smith around. Like,
I mean, also just the one for last season's perspective, the big advantage in having Will Smith on last year was making $2 million a year. So at one point until the All-Star break, Will Smith was literally playing like a top 20 hitter in baseball. That's when keeping him, that's when the batting payoff outweighs the fucking literal catching trade-off. Okay. When Will Smith started the half, fuck yeah, he is worth every single penny. I do not care how bad you are at catching. But second half of the year, when Will Smith reverted to just an average hitter, and then he's also a below average catcher, now there's no value. Now there's no reason. Now there's no steal having him on a $2 million contract. Now he's just the equivalent of a fucking Austin Barnes. And so Will Smith this upcoming season, this might be a big like make or break year. If he underperforms next season, fuck yeah, we should trade him because he is estimated to make $10 million this season. From ARB. Which means if he plays well, he might be 15 next year. Like last year of Seager and ARB, he made 25 mil.
Do you think
that judge ruled did you see him in the World Series? He's getting fucking 25 mil.
Do you think that if we moved him to another position, that our value would go down?
1,000%.
So then why
he's
not?
Playing catcher. Well, this is what I also look at. Will Smith, his value is being one of the best hitters in baseball at the catcher position. So the way I look at it is at your premier fielding position, center field, shortstop, catcher, I'd actually prefer the better fielder over the hitter, but it's when you can get a Corey Seager, despite how fucking awful he is at fielding. If you can get a premier hitter, a top 5 hitter in the sport at a premier position, pay them all of it.
This is the thing. All right. So for third base, let's just, because that's what we're talking about right now is third base. I'm not sure if I'd pay Will Smith like 150 mil. No. That's fair. But we're saying for the time and being and the question and being, right? Let's just think about the way Will Smith is. Better hitter than he is fielder, right? Better framer, right? But the nice thing about third base, you don't do a whole lot at third base.
1,000%.
So if he can figure out how to catch a ball without a catcher's mitt,
which is a big ask. Like that's a very big ask,
right?
Like, but hey, I'm just saying, as a guy who did not play baseball at a high level myself, I don't know how Mookie Betts is built different. He can casually just go play second, but I don't know.
We are talking about moving on from Max Muncy should that happen, and obviously, did Muncy play well-ish during the stretch last year? Yeah, all right. Has he made impacts? Yeah, okay, but when it comes to contract, just casualties, like luxury tax casualties, that's one of those things where if you can move pieces around, you're not losing a whole lot if you can put another guy who's a good hitter in there and keep him in the lineup every day. So, I mean, that's my personal opinion. We still talked about a veteran's presence or something, and I'm just saying Jock Peterson is still a free agent. But
I love Jock. My one thing where I can kind of, you know what? I'm ready to officially announce it right now. The Dodgers will not sign Jock Peterson. Yeah, like we signed Jason Hayward to a $9 million deal to be our lefty outfielder. Like, we're not getting Jock. And we did that Hayward move before Ohtani. So, like, we decided as an organization that Jason Hayward's going to be that lefty outfielder. Like, we decided that preseason. It's going to be him and Outman.
You think we can teach Jock how to play?
I don't think it works like that. I don't think it works like that. I wish it did work like that, Everett, but I don't think it works like that. Like I'd love for Jock to be playing third for us.
You think he can become right-handed? Like, is that another option?
Well, no. Keep him lefty. Keep him lefty. I don't want him to become a righty.
I'm saying we can put him in the outfield and just make him righty, hit righty.
Oh, I'm saying I don't want him. I want that lefty swing. That Jock swing, man. That God, I miss it. So
okay, so then can we teach Hayward how to hit righty?
Hayward's so bad at hitting lefty already, despite being 6'5", 250. That I mean, he's 35.
We got Nelson
it's
Cruz
too late
now.
to make him.
We got Nelson Cruz now.
True. You have a point there.
I got a point.
Like straight up this season, it's like there are some additions that we made that people aren't even noticing that we just made from injuries. So like
Chris
we're
Archer.
adding Walker. Well, he's on staff, but I'm talking like Walker Buehler's just
additions.
Just on the team now, and so is Gavin Lux. And it's like, shit, Lux might be the long-term answer at third base. Fuck, I don't know. Like straight up.
Right now, you know, like we were talking.
We're Gavin's biggest
we had previously talked about how, you know, Gavin Lux, you can't send him out there to be every single day at shortstop because he just might not be ready for that yet. Because we thought Kike was still here. Kike is not here. So now Gavin Lux is the every single day starter at shortstop because we don't have another guy to put out there.
Yeah, I mean, Rojas is still on roster, so he'll essentially be that guy to fill in for Lux.
Okay.
But it's, if I were to guess to start off the year, Lux is going to get righties. Rojas will get lefties. They'll be platooning at short. Outman's in center. Hayward's in right. Left field is a platoon job.
Right now, CT.
Muncy at third. Second is Mook. Freddie's at first. Will Smith at catcher. And then Ohtani DHing. I also did read, though, Ohtani is the one who suggested this, which means it's probably going to happen because, like, we're now at the stage where if Ohtani asks to do something, he does it.
It's happening.
It's going to happen. Like, if he requests anything, it's going to happen. So Ohtani said for this season, when he gets cleared to throw, he wants to play left field and not DH, which makes me think, like, I don't know how long that's going to take. Like, Ohtani might not be a while. Yeah, like I'm gonna assume that even if he does get cleared, that ain't happening till like fucking August. So is there any value in signing a JD Martinez right now on a 1 year, 10 mil to kind of wait to be DH? I don't really see the value in it.
No. Because also, I mean, like, let's think about this just hypothetically.
Breaking, USC just got a 4-star D lineman to commit. Lincoln. What? Lincoln, what? Whoa! They're getting D lineman commits. Fuck. Okay, back to baseball.
I'm assuming that DH spot most likely
it's gonna be
it will be Ohtani, and if he ends up wanting to play left, then that spot's either gonna be we're gonna call some dude up to literally just DH. Maybe it's I mean DeLuca's gone now. Maybe it's Michael Bush.
Or we straight up just go trade for a guy at the deadline when he gets cleared.
Actually,
that's what's gonna end up happening. We're gonna wait for Ohtani to get cleared. It'll be probably
you think we
deadline day,
you think
and it'll be
can,
like in a month Ohtani's cleared. So
you
let's
think
go
we can convince him to take CT in that trade?
Breaking news, we got to go to college football. Breaking news, Dylan Raiola has officially flipped from Georgia to Nebraska. Okay. I think we're time to wrap up. It's time to wrap
Nebraska?
up. It's time to wrap up the MLB
what's
segment.
Matt Rule doing?
Last thing I just want to say real quick. I am hearing we are not going after Blake Snell at all, which makes me a little bit sad because he's the best available lefty starting pitcher. That makes me think, though, that we might actually be re-signing Kershaw to another 1 year, which I do not want.
Well, if we get Yamamoto, it doesn't really.
We don't need Kershaw.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So let's not think that way.
Yeah, no, I will say though, just right now on paper, like we can fill a starting rotation, and Sheehan's the fifth. We obviously don't want Sheehan to be the fifth this season, but like right now, like we have a serviceable starting lineup. Or rotation. We have a serviceable rotation. If we added a Yamamoto or a Snell in there, then we would be like Walker would be the game 3, game 4 pitcher. And so that's the potential I'm thinking of. But like I'm hearing we are going all in on Hader. And if we can get that arm, oh yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that. Like, I arguably might rather have Hader on like a 3-year 30 than Yamamoto.
All right,
like,
calm
arguably.
Down. Calm down.
Just because Yamamoto will be 300. And there's just such little flexibility moving forward.
But who is a better player?
Now, just based off the numbers, it should be Yamamoto. What he's actually doing right now is ridiculous. And people are trying to be like, well, look at how other Japanese guys have came over and how they've pitched. And like, we're looking at like Hyunjin Ryu's, like fucking Kenta Maeda's, like fucking Tanaka's, and like none of them have exactly been that great. But it's like when Shohei was joining the MLB. Like it was a holy fuck, once in a generation prospect here. And that's what we're hearing about Yamamoto. So no, yeah, give me fucking Yamamoto. I misspoke there. But like, if we copped Hader and Yamamoto went to the Mets, I mean, that's taking. I'm not. Well, I just said I'm not sure. Considering that we did spend $290 million when the luxury tax was like 190 that year, like, yeah, both are still on the table.
CT, we'll see you later, buddy.
Like, the thing about CT is,
hey, do you think
next season we can trade him?
Do you think
it won't be that hard?
We could sell Cartaya and CT together?
Well, that's what I would do. That's the trade that I would be trying to make right now.
That's the move. I
would go CT and Cartaya, and let's try to get it. Let's try to get a baller. Let's try to get like a Kumar Rocker. Let's go get a fucking stud. Like, that's what I'm thinking. But okay, we gotta talk about college football now. After that fucking news just dropped, Dylan Raiola, who formerly was an 1,000 overall rated player, was committed to Ohio State. I believe he actually decommitted from Ohio State like about a year ago. Right now is when he decommitted from Ohio State. But Dylan Raiola, after now flipping his commitment for the second time, now from Georgia to Nebraska. Yeah, Dylan Raiola, this is now the third college he has been committed to in the past 12 months. If you also count high schools, I believe this is now the 7th academic institution that he has either attended or committed to over the past 3 years.
So here's my question. He's at a high school in Georgia right now, right?
Yeah, I mean, let's break down exactly
where he moved specifically so he could be in state for.
So he started off in Arizona, and I don't exactly remember where he transferred to, but he went from Arizona, just bouncing around high schools in Arizona, and that was when he was committed to Ohio State. He was still in Arizona. I would say he decommitted from Ohio State a year ago right now. I'm not sure when he recommitted to Georgia, but I know come like March, April time, 2023, this season, Dylan Raiola's dad, who is a Nebraska legacy, Donovan Raiola, he played offensive line at Nebraska, played in the NFL for a long time. Dylan Raiola's uncle is also a coach at Nebraska currently. So there's obviously heavy family ties there. His dad played at Nebraska. That's all you need to know. And for anyone who was unaware of the legacy of Nebraska football and college football, I've seen some comments out there. We've got a couple people who are literally 12 years or younger because they've only seen Ohio State lose 3 times in their life. For those people, you're not going to believe what I'm about to say, but Nebraska used to be really good at one point. Nebraska used to be looked at how we looked at Clemson in the 2010s. I know it's literally incomprehensible. You cannot fathom the thought that Nebraska was a powerhouse at one point, but they were. Look it up in the 90s, folks. Look it up.
If you know what the 90s are, let's start there.
Yeah. We don't. But Dylan Raiola, in that March, April time, he had committed to Georgia already. And in that process, he also transferred from, I believe, Pinnacle, or not Pinnacle, maybe Chandler or Chaparral or somewhere from Arizona.
I'm not going to know.
He transferred from there to Buford in Georgia, which is one of the top powerhouse high schools in the state of Georgia. But there's been a long time belief among Georgia fans that they can't get Buford kids. Now, Buford is in Georgia. But this year, Buford had 3 5-star players on their team, none of which are committed to Georgia. So Dylan Raiola, if it were up to me, Kirby Smart called up the Raiolas after they gave him their NIL package over Ohio State. They called him up and said, hey, we need to get this guy, Edric Houston, D-end, who's currently committed to Ohio State, but he's taking an unofficial visit to Alabama, and I'm deathly afraid that he's going to flip. But Edric Houston is a 5-star there, and KJ Bolden is a 5-star safety. Now, KJ's currently committed to FSU. Edric's currently committed to Ohio State. But I'm genuinely under the impression that Kirby Smart sent Raiola to Georgia to flip Edric Houston and KJ Bolden to Georgia.
Well, and the wide receiver from Ohio State too.
Jeremiah Smith?
Right.
He's not on Buford.
But wasn't that originally an intent? It was to try and get him with them?
Maybe. I know Jeremiah Smith, his recruitment has come down primarily to Ohio State, Florida State, and Miami.
He is committed currently to Ohio State.
Yes. So Jeremiah Smith, I am way more concerned about Miami and Florida State than a Georgia. But the thing about him is, so Ohio State's been recruiting his 7-on-7 team extremely hard. South Columbus Express. Sorry, my bad. Misspoke there. And so their quarterback is Air Noland. He's the lefty committed to Ohio State. He's enrolling in January. He, like, literally after that Kyle McCord Michigan game, I think at halftime of the Michigan game, he was like, I will be early enrolling. I will be in Columbus on January. He was like, I will be there. Do not worry, Ohio State fans. I'm coming. But
I got you.
He's Jeremiah Smith's 11-on-11 quarterback. And so that would have been the guy to go after if you're Georgia. But they already had Raiola committed. Not anymore, clearly. But that's what they thought. But
Carson
Beck
did also announce earlier today he's coming back,
which was expected. It was but Raiola wants to start year one, and
yes,
Raiola goes to Nebraska. He is starting. So Dylan Raiola,
which is, by the way, I mean, we had talked about this the other week, and we were like, hey, I saw this report that Dylan Raiola might go to like, he's got crystal ball to Nebraska, and you're like, no, don't worry about that. Don't worry, it's not going to happen. Never going to happen. And that was at the same time Kyle McCord was taking visits there. The moment Kyle McCord didn't transfer to Nebraska, we should have known
right away.
This is what was going to be the outcome.
Yeah. So we'll get into Honda. Actually, yeah, we can bring up my Honda now. Yeah, my Honda is now the starting quarterback for the Syracuse Orange. Another development, Julian Fleming. So out of high school, he was the number 3 player in his class from the state of Pennsylvania. I don't exactly remember how the recruiting battle exactly tied down to, but I'm assuming Penn State was pretty involved there at the end. He is now crystal balled to go to Penn State. And from what I heard, all rumors, all speculation, I heard that Julian Fleming himself was like, I am not fucking playing with Kyle McCord. We are not going to the same place. And Julian Fleming was like, wherever Kyle goes, that is off the list for me. So all speculation, all rumors. I don't know anything for sure. But I was hearing some bowl practice stuff, and this is from last year's bowl prep. Okay. So Ohio State is going to the College Football Playoff, and in the battle for the backup job, they had Devin Brown and Kyle McCord facing off behind CJ.
Right.
From that bowl prep a year ago, before this season, every review or quote that came out of that camp was like, wow, this Devin Brown kid is fucking something. Never anything about Kyle McCord. Never anything about Kyle. It was all Devin Brown. And what I'm also hearing from this bowl camp is that many of the receivers, Emeka Egbuka specifically pointed this out. He said, yeah, we used to always joke with Kyle that, Devin's just much more athletic than him. And Kyle's kind of like a moving or kind of like a sitting duck out there.
Just interesting here. So, I mean, Dylan Raiola, obviously, going on 3 hasn't rated as a 4-star, but he's a 5-star. Okay. But just going off of what On 3 has for Nebraska's commitments for this class, 22nd in the nation overall. They have one 5-star in Dylan Raiola, and they have 5 4-stars. So they have a pretty decent class, including multiple O linemen and a tight end. Huh?
Isai.
I mean, but like for it being Nebraska and where Nebraska's been at in the Big Ten, like
yes, yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean
that's
Nebraska.
more so the point.
They're gonna need to recruit.
It's like if Rutgers were to get a good class, would you say that Rutgers has an amazing class? No, you'd be like, all right, so it's okay. But for Rutgers, it's incredible. For Nebraska, this is incredible.
Well, I will say one thing that I'm trying to take us back to. There was a time period where Nebraska was a powerhouse, and they want to get back there.
No, and that's why they hired Matt Rule. But I'm going to be honest. When they hired Matt Rule, you can say it. I'm saying it the right way. Matt Rule.
Matt Rule. Thank you. Say his name correct. Thank you.
Matt Rule.
Lee. Thank you.
What like he did like pretty well at Baylor, and that's how he got the job in the NFL. And he was able to build that program. But I was going to be surprised if like Nebraska is much more of a challenge than Baylor is. And I mean, like you can convince
it's only going to get harder.
No, yeah, you can convince people to go to Baylor. Baylor's in Texas, just like the general route, like whatever great academic institution. Nebraska, it's Nebraska. Like there's a pretty stark drop off there. So
don't need to remind me twice as an Ohio State fan, geographical location when you come to recruiting. Don't need to remind me twice. But no, I get what you're saying there. Compared to the past shit they've been doing, this is way better. I'm saying Dylan Raiola, this may be the first domino to fall to really get some momentum rolling here. If they can add a couple of wide receivers, which is probably, it is easier to do through the portal.
And they've got a tight end commit too. So
yeah, I mean, that might just be Raiola's guy in 2 years. We'll see. But if it were up to me, kind of the way I'm looking at it from Raiola's perspective, like he has a transfer. So like you tell me, what would you do here? You're the number one quarterback in the class. Nebraska, he'll be starting right away. Georgia, he won't be starting. I can really understand going to Nebraska and just starting. Now you could tank your fucking stock. Look at what Dante Moore did, but also looking at Dante Moore, he's still like the number 3 player.
Yeah, he's still going to go
the transfer
somewhere.
Portal, despite being awful last year for UCLA as a true freshman. So in reality, you can't even really tank your stock that much getting thrown in there as a true freshman. So fuck it. I actually understand it completely. Dylan Raiola, yeah, go start year 1. If it doesn't work out, just transfer and you'll be the Georgia starting quarterback in 2 years. Simple.
Well, it also doesn't even have to, like, his whole plan could have been, okay, I'm going to play at Georgia, and if things go great, like maybe I'll leave Georgia too. Like that's just kind of seems to be the way that a lot of players are approaching things right now. Is you'll play the first year, and then if you don't go like Dylan Gabriel, fantastic for Oklahoma. Oklahoma was competing, and he still left.
I mean, Oklahoma fans are pissed.
100%.
Oh my God. Dylan Gabriel is public enemy number 1 in Norman right now, and I don't blame him at all.
And arguably, you went from a easier conference to try and win next year to
bro, they're going to the SEC next year.
Oh, that's right.
Oklahoma is so
I forgot. I thought they're moving to the SEC. We also play them next year. Fun fact about that. Little welcome wagon.
Is it just Tulane? You have your out of conference with an SEC team every year, or
that could be it. Like I can't.
No, that can't be because Oklahoma.
Last year we played only K-State. Like that was.
Okay, never mind.
Our home and homes are like. But fun fact though, next year we play Oklahoma and K-State. So we got a heavy hitter schedule for G5.
You have a home and home with both of them? Well,
we had a home and home with both of them. But K-State, this is our second game of the home and home. Last year we played away. No. I guess a year off. At Oklahoma, this will be 2 years in between. So this season, last season, we played a home game at Oklahoma because of the hurricane. So now we're playing in Oklahoma again.
Just for like Ohio State, like in terms of future opponents, like they set this up years ago, but like Ohio State set up a home and home with Georgia and Alabama from 2026 to 2030, which are 1,000,000% getting canceled because why the fuck would you?
Well, yeah, Minnesota. I saw Minnesota did one with Alabama for like 2034 and 2036. I'm like, there's no way that's staying.
Well, for them, that's probably going to stay on. But I'm saying, like, if you're a USC right now, can't cancel anything you have with SEC. Fuck that. You already got a schedule to get through in its own right. Like, fuck that. You're not playing that too. But okay. Well, actually, we can quickly bring up USC real quick. Malachi Nelson has entered the transfer portal. Former number 1 quarterback in his class. He just finished his true freshman season. He may have redshirted, but just finished up his essentially first semester on campus. He has entered the portal. Now, Will Howard from Kansas State is crystal balled to transfer to USC as well, but
Miller he's officially committed.
Okay, but Miller might actually be the starter. Now, he will have a little bit of a showcase in the Holiday Bowl against Louisville, which is not going to be an easy task. But Miller's going to have a little bit of a showcase here to kind of show what he can do. And hey, Miller's odds of being the starting quarterback for the USC Trojans has gone up a lot.
Has only gone up.
Malachi Nelson leaving. So I'm kind of, I'm not going to say that yet.
Now we know like Lincoln's not going to start a true freshman. That's not
unless he's talented. Yeah, like when we were diving back to that list, like most of Lincoln's quarterbacks are old. So
yeah, they've had a year or two underneath their belt. He likes his transfer quarterbacks. Let's put it that way. He likes the transfer quarterbacks. The only one that I think he started as a true freshman was Caleb. I think Caleb started that year when we played, because he came into the game when we beat the shit out of Spencer Rattler. And then Spencer came back in, but we still lost that game. Fuck you, refs. But yeah, so it's really going to be whether or not Miller decides to stay and how he plays in this bowl game. Like, this is a very big, he knows this, but it's a very big game for him. If he plays great, like, either he's going to find a job somewhere else or he will have made his mark with Lincoln as to why he should be the starter.
Oh yeah, like
and keep in mind too,
what you just brought up. Like, this is also a showcase for the portal if he hits that too.
Yeah.
So
like also, if you're Lincoln Riley, you know that too, and other teams are going to be like calling him up, like, hey, we want you to be our guy.
I have no confirmation on this on my own, but if I were a betting man, I'd go on a limb and say Miller Moss has been contacted by a school to transfer already. Hey, I'm just going to go out and say, I don't know. I'm just going to guess.
I don't know.
I would guess that's happened. But
just like previous years, I know a certain quarterback for a certain team who was contacted by several teams in season about leaving.
I will just say though,
from not no names, but
from Miller himself, he did tell me that when he was at those high school quarterback camps, the only 2 guys that he would admit were better than him were Caleb Williams and Kyle McCord. Those are the only 2
Michael
guys.
Pratt.
Well, I don't think he was in those camps. He's a year older, right?
He's our year.
Yeah, so this is a year below.
Oh, wait, is Miller a year below us? Oh, okay. That is right. Yeah.
He's older than me, younger than you, but he was older.
I got you.
Caleb, I'm pretty sure, is older than both of us. I know he's older than me. I think he's older than me.
I don't think he's older than me. I think he's 2002.
I know he's 01, but I think he might be.
No, he is 01. He is a month, almost to the day, younger than me.
Oh, okay. But yeah, like they're all older. Like, yeah, Miller's older than me. But yeah, okay. I have one last thing. Got to shout out, plug your ears. Got to shout out the University of Ole Miss. They are destroying the transfer portal. This might be the greatest net gain from a transfer portal I've ever seen. And yes, I'm saying over the Caleb Williams USC class. I'm saying over Florida State last season. So they have a crystal ball in for the number 1 player in the transfer portal, the only 5-star technically, according to 24/7, Walter Nolan. They also have the number 1 and number 2 edges in the portal already committed. They have the number 2 wide receiver in the portal committed, and they have the number 4 corner in the transfer portal committed. Ole Miss, they have hit that shit hard. They have hit that hard. If I have my math, I'm pretty sure Quinshon Judkins will be there for another year. He was only a true sophomore. Yes. So, wow. If my man Jackson Dart, if my man Dart can get it going, oh man, Ole Miss, they could really be something next year. I congratulations, Mincy. Congrats. But yeah, those were the transfer portal recruiting updates I had. That Dylan Raiola flip. Wow. Holy shit. Okay. It's time for a quick little college basketball segment. And then
can I just say something real quick about the MLB, which we didn't get to talk about?
Oh, yeah.
So the Giants just signed Young Ho Lee, right? Remember that?
Yep.
On the graphic they posted for that, the Dodgers were beating them 6-5 on the graphic with him in it.
Wait, I'm so confused. What?
So on the graphic that they posted saying Young Ho Lee has signed, in the background of the stadium is the Jumbotron that has like his face and everything. Like he's
so they just have a cutout of like Giants AT&T Park and
so they had a cutout with the camera angle, right? And they have a big Young Ho Lee in the background. They have like his face, like he's up to bat, and then they have the scoreboard below it. The scoreboard is a Giants-Dodgers game. The Dodgers were winning 6-5 on the scoreboard. That was not edited out.
I follow now. I understand now. Keep on taking L's. Giants.
I think the department there was just like, fuck, they beat us with Shohei. Like, fuck you, management.
I was hearing the other team that gave a comparable contract to Ohtani with the deferrals was the Giants.
Yes.
I heard it was just us and the Giants.
Maybe
there was another team on it too, but
the other thing that I wanted to say, as an LA, not as native as Grant, but as somebody who was raised in LA.
Native, yeah, you're still just as native as me.
Kobe Bryant obviously means a lot to the city and to everybody who grew up in LA, and obviously means a lot to a lot of people abroad, especially in Asia. So it's just amazing to me that the Dodgers managed to get this and keep it totally under wraps. A message specifically for Shohei Ohtani to use at this critical moment from Kobe Bryant saying, "Hey, Shohei, come sign with the Dodgers." And it means obviously so much either way, but also it being posthumous, like,
yeah, no, I mean,
more. And that's just a great, like, that's just an amazing thing for just not just the city, but also to see how much it mattered to Shohei and mattered just the fact that video is never being publicized.
Yeah.
But it's never being publicized. It's never going to come out. It's solely just for Shohei. And that is just amazing.
I'd say one thing real quick, don't want to make it too sad. We're celebrating the good parts about Kobe, but like just as an LA spokesperson, Kobe Bryant was unreal. Like when the Lakers were at his peak under Kobe, like the other sports teams in LA were not that great. Now I know the Kings did have like a two-peat around the time, but no one gives a flying fuck. Kobe's not going to support the Kings.
You and I will care one day. You and I will care about the Kings one day of the year. That's it.
Oh, one day of the year. Yes.
One day of the year.
And it's not even necessarily the Kings. It's more so the over. But but like Kobe just as a spokesperson for LA sports teams was phenomenal. One of my favorite Kobe memories. Now, I know you don't have the strongest opinions of Manny Machado, but I will always appreciate Manny Machado because, yeah, he's a piece of shit, but he was my piece of shit at one time, damn it. So I will always appreciate Manny Machado. And when he joined the Dodgers, now we've iconic story of when Powell got traded to the Lakers. Kobe flew out to go meet him in his hotel room, meet up with him in person the day of. And Powell was like, that's something I will never forget, that Kobe was willing to go out of his way to just make me feel welcome when I joined. But also for literal new Dodger acquisitions, like Kobe is calling up Machado like, hey, I'm so happy you're here. Like, Dodgers, we finally got a stud. Like, I'm so hyped you're finally here. Like, let me know if you need anything. And I'm pretty sure Manny asked Kobe for his blessing, can I wear number 8? And Kobe's like, what the fuck? You don't need to ask me twice. Obviously, put that shit on right now. And so it's just what he's done for the city of LA as a whole. Like Dodgers specifically, I just remember 2017 World Series. I believe it was Game 6. They're paying to Kobe And yeah, he was sitting dugout club, but like every time he's on camera, he's like, get the shit off me. Like we're watching Dodger baseball here. Like this is like, why the fuck are you panning to me? Like who the fuck cares? And I just love that mentality out of Kobe. It's the Mamba mentality. We all know it, but losing is not an option for him. Like that's just one thing you just got to fucking respect out of Kobe, whether you hate him or not. Like his attitude and approach towards both sports and just everything else is just second to none. And that body armor investment, finance bros, you want to do some real studying? Go look that one up. But okay. Yeah, you know what? You never need to apologize for a quick Kobe shout out. Never need to. No apologies.
Hey,
there,
okay. you know, anybody who's listened to this podcast for a long time knows how big of a Kobe stan I am. As I have stated, what did I say? Like second best player or third best player all time. I think I had him behind.
You've certainly, you definitely.
I've had him up
best
there.
Player of all time. You know, I like to try to strip myself of some biases here. I hate to admit it.
I embrace it.
I hate to admit it, but like Kobe's not even the greatest Laker ever. So like, there's a lot.
Now that's a debate for another day, but I will argue that till the day I die.
There's just like there's a lot of things we got to dive into.
Just who's the greatest Laker of all time?
I would say it's probably Magic.
Okay. I thought you were gonna go off and be like, "Hey, it's Jerry West."
No.
God, now, hey, greatest person with the Lakers organization of all time.
No. Worst player ever with the Lakers organization, Jerry West.
But everything else that he's done for the Lakers.
You could say Kareem too, but I mean, Kareem.
But I mean, overall, the most influential, impactful player for the Lakers overall across everything probably is Jerry West, considering he did get Kobe fucking Bryant and Magic. So,
yeah, I'm just trying to think of I had this debate the other day. I don't want to get into this too long, but in a way, Michael Jordan kind of ruined the NBA because basketball went from like Showtime Lakers, 80s Celtics. The few clips I've seen, that ball is fucking moving. All right. They are passing that shit. Everybody's touching the ball twice before a shot goes up. That ball movement is unreal. The second Michael Jordan rolls around, it was like, fuck your teammates, give the ball to Michael, everyone get the fuck out of the way and let him shoot. And it just went to ISO basketball.
Like when Steve Kerr shoots, there's a conversation in the locker room afterwards.
Well, MJ's gonna punch him in the face if he ever shoots again, which has happened multiple times. But like in a way, Michael Jordan ruined the NBA because it just went to ISO basketball. Kobe, I mean, it's very well documented. Like on his literal scouting combine, it's like positives, great at finding his own shot, uber competitive, negatives, hates his teammates, and like not a great passer. And it's like there could not have been a more accurate scouting fucking report of all time on a player. But yeah, the NBA kind of got ruined going to ISO ball. Like in a way, Steph actually might have saved it because now with the 3-point shots, there's actually passing involved in the game.
Yeah. So there's actually some strategy rather than shoving it to one guy and just letting them do whatever.
I'll be honest, there's nothing more boring than early 2000s NBA where it's just fucking give the ball to Allen Iverson, let him do fucking behind the backs.
I did enjoy watching early mid to late 2000s NBA way more than anything now.
I mean, like, hey, I'll be honest.
I enjoyed that way more.
There was a season where Kobe was averaging like 37 points, shooting like 37 shots a game. It's like, we got to change.
Did he win
Nash
MVP?
robbed him.
Yeah.
Steve Nash robbed him that year. But it's like, that's the type of basketball. And I think the Lakers were struggling to be 500 that season. So it's like, we got to change. We got to change.
Was that the Chris Paul decline trade year? It was that year.
Mm-hmm.
Motherfucker.
I'm just saying, in the grand scheme of things, it's okay we didn't get Chris Paul because we got Powell. We did two-peat anyway.
Yeah. But still, I mean, you put Chris Paul on the team and Kobe's doing that shit that year. Like, oh my God.
You just got to think though, like the NBA, David Stern back then was willing to override it. Like if a trade he deemed to be too unfair, like,
well, he didn't deem that. The owners said this is bullshit. And then
yeah. By nature, it's David Stern representing the owners, but it's like I don't think like if the NFL owners like revolted, like I can't even think of an example recently that would be like a game breaking trade. Like, fuck, I don't know. Like if I was going to say like trade Micah Parsons to the Niners.
Most of the time it's the players just vetoing it themselves, i.e. Gronk saying, I do not want to fucking go to Detroit, but
that's also just one of the greatest stories ever. They're like,
okay,
we're going to trade Detroit Gronk. He's like, I'm retired.
I'm retired. I'm gone.
What the fuck are you talking about?
College basketball.
Okay, college basketball. This could be a quick one. I was surprised how well how are you still in college basketball listed well. Those are the old guys. So this time we're going to be going over the notable names. All right. I just want it on record. I am literally the same age as a good amount of players I'm about to list. Okay. This isn't necessarily a how are you still in college, but a more so like, oh shit, you're still like at the top of college basketball. You're still playing. I kind of thought you'd be in the NBA by now, considering how well you've been playing the past couple of years. So we're not calling out age specifically. I'm just more so in the era of one and done college basketball. It's just kind of shocking to see these guys stay around for a long time. But here we go. You knew you weren't safe from this, starting off hot with the North Carolina duo, Armando Bacot and RJ Davis. They are still there, coming off of their, I believe 2 seasons ago when they were going up against Palo in the Final Four and losing the national championship game. We got Boo Buie out of Northwestern going into year 5. We got Keon Brooks, former Kentucky Wildcat legend, still at Washington, still playing. We got Boogie Ellis out of USC, the former Memphis player. He is still playing for the USC Trojans. We got Hunter Dickinson, formerly from Michigan, now playing for Kansas. We got Caleb Love, would have been playing at Michigan, but unfortunately the admissions team denied him. He will be playing at Arizona this year. And finally, we have Max Asmus, hopefully I pronounced that correctly, the former Oral Roberts legend who bounced a 2-seed Ohio State team a couple of seasons ago. He is still playing, but now he has transferred to Texas. He'll be playing for Shaka Smart. So that is the college basketball. How are you still in college basketball list? I know I included some 4th-year seniors on that list. I know I'm probably older than Caleb Love or Hunter Dickinson, probably one of them. I know, but still, this is just pointing out like what the hell. I remember you guys dominating for years. So that's more so the fun fact. And we're going to take a quick commercial break real quick with a message from our sponsor. All right. We are back after that message from our sponsors. Thank you so much, friends over at BetterHelp. Thank you guys so much for that. But okay, NFL time, Everett.
Okay. Yeah. So sorry, I like kind of fell asleep during the
intermission. No worries.
Yeah.
No worries.
Okay. Yeah. So just talk about the Vikings a little bit. First things first, I don't know if you saw this clip of Jake Browning after the game, or if it was just a Vikings Twitter thing, but there's a clip of him going around where he's yelling into a camera being like, hey, you shouldn't have fucking cut me, because the Vikings cut him and now he's doing well in the Bengals. And everyone's like, yeah, like he's all hyped about it, right? He beat the Vikings. If you get cut by a team, it's not the team's fault for cutting you. It means you were so fucking bad that they had better players than you on the team.
Yeah, true.
And if you can't beat out Sean Mannion and Kellen Mond.
Sean Mannion is an elite quarterback. So
all right, shut the fuck up now. Sean Mannion and Kellen Mond for a backup spot.
Kellen Mond, heart of a lion.
Shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear it. Fuck.
He's a warrior.
He's got the heart of a lion, but an arm of a fucking dolphin. All right.
Yeah, heart of a lion, noodle. Physical ability of a fucking
noodle,
a little chicken. So yeah.
If you lose to both of them, that's on you, bro. Don't be. And also, 95% of the staff that was part of that is no longer here. So I don't know who the fuck you're calling out right now, besides like a logo, right? You're calling out the mascot right now. So I don't know what's going on. All right,
people take out anger in their own ways. Okay,
it's not even anger. Like he's trying to hype himself up, being like, hey, like I just fucking like this was a revenge game. Dude, all right, calm the fuck. Your revenge game is against our mascot because he's the only remaining dude on staff, essentially.
Yeah.
Okay. So, talking about the game itself, not Kellen Mond. That's the performance has me thinking of Kellen Mond, but Nick Mullins. Yeah, Nick Mullins should have had probably about 4 picks that game.
How many did he actually have though?
2. too. He threw the ball. He was trying to throw it away.
He also had the greatest throw in the history of the NFL. He was trying immediately after arguably the worst throw in the history of the NFL. He had the greatest throw in the history of the NFL.
He was trying to throw the ball away during a sack and threw it into the dude who was sacking him face, and it turned into a pick. And then afterwards, he was like, "No, I was throwing it forward." I'm like, "Dude, it doesn't matter if you're throwing it forward or not. The ball is on top of him. So either it's a fumble and they got it, or it's a forward pass and they got it. There's no getting out of this." So here's the deal. One, I still think Jaren Hall needs to get a shot after that shit. Like,
he's not concussed anymore, correct? Like, he is cleared.
No.
Got it.
He's been cleared. He looked good the first drive. And yeah, it's a small sample size, but it's been a small sample size with anybody. If it looked good in a small sample size, at least let him try. You got Nick Mullins there. You can come out and do whatever the fuck, right? We've seen what Nick Mullins can do. We have not seen what Jaren Hall can do. And maybe Jaren Hall is going to be that little bit. He's the unknown factor. He could be fucking Brock Purdy for all we know.
He could be your Taylor Heineke. He could.
He came in. Brock Purdy came in after the other first two quarterbacks got hurt and is now the starter for the 49ers. Maybe Jaren Hall can be there. Like, you don't know until you see it. So why don't we see it? All right. We've seen that the Pastronaut, his head's in outer space. All right. He doesn't know what the fuck's going on during the game. Nick Mullins can only is horrible decision making. Jaren Hall's looked good when he's been playing. Why don't we see? All right. Nick Mullins is going to start this next game. That's already been announced, but I think that it would be a disservice to not see what Jaren Hall can do. The other thing is, we've been saying it all year, Ty Chandler should be the RB1 for the Vikings. He's gotten the first chance to show what he can do as an RB1. He is the only rusher this season to have over 100 yards in the running back department. He also, by the way, has more touchdowns than Alexander Mattison has had all season because Alexander Mattison has 0. So, I don't know.
I didn't know that.
Who seems like the better running back? Who seems like the better running back to you? I get it. The whole argument is he's not as good in pass pro. I understand that. But one, that's a place that you can learn. And two, guess what the magical thing about football is? You can sub players out. So he doesn't have to be that.
I can understand
that. I understand.
Kind of giving away the play, but
strategically, yeah. Are you giving away the play? Sure. But does it need to be 70% Alexander Mattison, 30% Ty Chandler? No. At a bare minimum, it should be 50-50. Outside of that, rotate it so it still works strategically, but like shit. Ty Chandler should be the majority of snaps.
I don't know if Ty Chandler can catch.
He can. He can.
3 catches on 4 targets, 25 yards. Like, obviously sometimes you need that running back blocking. But
that's the other thing is he can do well. He can do well kind of screen check down game where Madison can't really do that. The other thing is the defense played pretty well throughout the first half of the game. Second half, total collapse. There was a couple fluke plays, i.e. T. Higgins stretching his arm fucking 4 feet across the end zone to get a touchdown. But the corners, like the secondary did not play well. Byron Murphy got his ass waxed on one of those plays. Didn't look good. All right. That needs to be solidified. That's whatever. It's a bad game. But for anybody also, by the way, on Vikings Twitter, hashtag fire KOC was trending on Twitter after the game. And if you legitimately think that Kevin O'Connell should be fired after that, and for the fact that he's, maybe he's had some calls that has lost us some games. If you legitimately think that means he should be fired, you are a fucking stupid fan. That is unbelievably incoherent. Like I physically don't understand that, because anytime you see any adversity in anything, if you're like, the first thing is, all right, fire that guy, bench that guy. Like, we got to cut that guy. That's like me when I play Madden and I get sacked 7 times and immediately go and cut my right guard. All right. Like it's a stupid idea. All right. Yeah, Grant knows that was a great from my experience. Exactly. He'll see me go, I'll get sacked 7 times. I go and trade for a 98 overall right guard. It doesn't make sense. All right. So, and then I still get sacked like 5 times, but if you're saying you should fight, like, one, Kevin O'Connell is still 20-11 overall with a team rebuilding. He's had 4 different quarterbacks start this season. Kirk Cousins has been out for the last essentially 2 months, month and a half. Justin Jefferson has not played for half, if not more, of the season. We've had guys injured on the O-line, guys injured on defense. He's working with literal fucking sticks and bandages right now, and he's winning games. We're at 500. If you think that any other coach is going to be able to do any better with that situation, I suggest you go find a new fan base, because It doesn't exist. Go be a fan of the XFL. Maybe it works there. All right. But it does not happen in the NFL. The only time it happened, the only time people are expecting this is because they see what Case Keenum happened. That was a fluke year. All right. We all love Case, but it does not happen normally. All right. Like, does not happen normally.
I'm so sorry, Case. You caught a stray on this episode.
No, there's no stray. There's no stray. Not a stray at all. I said we all love Case. But the performance that happened, you do not like. That's a once in a blue moon kind of ordeal that you see come out of a backup quarterback. Same thing with Brock Purdy. Like, technically, you can argue that too, but it doesn't happen. Okay, and for the fact, like with Nick Mullins too, fucking it's like that meme right now.
Damn ham. That one.
Yeah.
That's immediately what I thought of. Damn ham, the ham sandwich. Damn, man.
Kyle Shanahan went, I think, 5-8 with Nick Mullins. And he's considered one of the greatest offensive play callers of the generation. So let's calm down, okay? But that's where we're at right now.
Yeah, all right. Ending this off, we'll wrap this up. Don't have too much to say. It's only
I got 2 lists before we end too.
Oh yeah. The first step to progression has been completed. Salvation for the Los Angeles Chargers of San Diego. Brandon Staley, we all know, needed to be fired. Okay, that was a given. We all knew that. He should have been fired going into the season. In my opinion, he should have been fired going into last season for his blunder at the end of the year with the Raiders and the whole tie situation. Should have been fired after that. But in my opinion, general manager Tom Telesco was the bigger problem. Getting rid of him is
breaking news. Jalen Hurts has arrived to the stadium in Michael Jordan gear with reports that he has the flu. So
I read a report that he is playing tonight. And
yes, and he came wearing Michael Jordan gear. Flu game incoming.
So it looks like I'll have to dive in tonight, I'll have to dive into it later. How much did Jalen Hurts drink last night? Which bar was he at? How hungover is he right now? Because that's what that actually means. We all know
MJ he in Las Vegas.
We know. I mean, if anyone believes the fucking 30 for 30 last dance on Michael Jordan claiming he had pizza the night before, you're crazy. You are crazy if you believe that.
Oh, he had pizza, but some other stuff with the pizza.
Pizza might have been the code word for what Michael was doing that night.
He washed the pizza down with other things. All right. There was not water. Water was not used there.
Yeah. I mean that. And also he played minor league baseball for a year because he was silently suspended because of his gambling addiction. That's what actually happened. But all right. It's all right, folks. We can worry about that a different day. Okay. Yeah. But Telesco is the bigger problem. Getting rid of him is the true win here. That's like an actual rejoice moment. Now the final dagger, nail in the coffin, you could say, is if the Spanos family sold the team. That would be the true, oh my God, we actually have a little bit of hope now.
I don't know how much you've looked into it. But your ideal GM coach pairing, what do you think?
I have not speculated.
I've seen people be like, hey, we want Bill Belichick, which by the way, I would absolutely not want fucking Bill Belichick. I don't think I'm
exactly advising that move either.
I've seen people be like, hey, Bill Belichick, he'll be GM and head coach. I don't
really know GMs.
Some people have talked about the Eagles have a guy in their department for GM. Obviously, we've seen Jim Harbaugh come up on there. I
would love Harbaugh to be my coach. I just
we talked about the Texans OC. You talked about previously how you wanted him to be your OC last year.
I got to dive into my stuff from last season on coaching changes.
Bobby Slowick is
I would not want Kellen Moore to be head coach.
Same thing with by the way, he didn't want to be your interim head coach because he didn't want to hurt his chances at becoming a head coach.
Which shit, I don't blame you, dog.
That's a red flag. That's a massive red flag. I don't want it. I mean, I don't blame him at all. I mean, if he went 0-3 to end the year as interim coach, I mean that one looks great for him. I'm also I don't fucking really care much for Kellen Moore keeping him. Yeah, I wouldn't. I think
just being honest. Like it's not like Kellen Moore's
you want a brand new staff.
Yeah.
And the other thing, by the way, Cowboys offense has looked pretty good this year without him.
It's looked better without him.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
But I mean, like the Lions OC is a name to watch too. He's getting recognition. Eric Bieniemy might be somebody too. So options, we got options.
I'll need to dive into it. Like if I were to take anyone right now, I'd pick Harbaugh, but I'm assuming that's not going to be available.
Is Bill Belichick even in like a top 5? Like,
I feel like he's just got to be in the top 5, but I don't
Urban Meyer.
I just don't want. I don't know. Maybe it could be a good thing, but
it's a win-win like for Bill's you, Jim. If Jim shows up to LA, it's
kill two birds with one stone. Yes,
that'll be the best day of your life.
Yes, that'd be a miracle.
Beats whatever day you get married. Nah, Jim Harbaugh going to the Chargers, best day of your life.
1,000%. The fuck, my marriage day is way down that list compared to that. Kid's birth, way down the list compared to that. Are you kidding me? And that 2014 Natty is definitely above both of those things. So yeah.
But I mean, yeah, it'll be interesting. What happens there? They are massively over the cap. So here's the deal. Like we've talked about, we have done a list about what would be the most, like the best head coach openings from a talent perspective, from a quarterback perspective. The Chargers are in location. Yeah. Chargers are the best, but you know, you got to get in
like
there.
Legacy, like franchise.
You got to get in there, and we are selling. We're getting rid of Joey Bosa. We're getting rid of Khalil Mack, Derwin James. See you later.
I fucking hate Derwin James. He's so bad.
We're getting rid of Keenan Allen, which, by the way, this season helped you even more because he's still under contract and he did really well. Mike Williams. Will take him. You might be trading for a fucking coffee cooler, but or
you know what his cap hit is next year?
Like 18.
35 million.
Oh my God.
I'm not sure if we can trade him, Everett.
Tom Telesco is fucking deplorable. Guantanamo.
Disgusting.
He's gonna be all fucking strapped up like Hannibal Lecter from fucking Silence of the Lambs.
Actually, seriously,
literally,
like write that one down. Like that one might need to send a suggestion to the LAPD. But yeah.
I like to report fraud.
Yeah, I have multiple pieces of evidence to support this. Yes, exactly.
Okay. All right. So to wrap up,
many counts of fraud, bribery, and conspiracy to commit more fraud. Okay. Oh
my God. All right. So to wrap up this episode, we got 2 lists. We got power rankings, which we haven't done in a minute, and we also have best backup quarterbacks for 2023. The requirements are they must have started one game and it started the year as a backup, and then started the year as a backup on the depth chart.
So we can explain the caveat. Zach Wilson does qualify.
Zach Wilson qualifies. Will Levis qualifies. Oh, yeah. We'll say Josh Dobbs does qualify because he was the starter, but he was the backup behind Kyler, who was on IR, which was the reason why.
Yeah, and he counts.
He's on there. We're going to do power rankings first. We'll go 10-1 here. Texans, Jaguars, Chiefs, Bills, Lions, Eagles, Cowboys, Dolphins, Ravens, 49ers.
Yeah, I was just thinking the other day, it appears as if we might be getting a Harbaugh Bowl rematch this year. At least that's what people are kind of thinking are the 2 top teams right now in the Niners and the Ravens. I was just genuinely just trying to wrap my head around it this morning. Yeah, I'd pick the Ravens to win the AFC right now, and I just really couldn't imagine myself saying that.
If Tyreek Hill and Waddle both stay healthy, the Dolphins could still do it. They've had a hard time versus teams above that are good. But if they figure it out, which teams tend to, they're giving the Ravens a run for their money, and they're only 1 game, I think, behind them record-wise. So
that home field advantage will be crucial. If the Ravens can keep the
difference between playing in the cold and in the warm for the Dolphins is pretty big. So It will be massive. And also, I mean, playoff ball for the Ravens also with Lamar has never been easy. They've not done well in the playoffs with Lamar. So
my joke has always been, if they're ever down, the game's over. They can't come back.
I will also say, honestly, looking at this, like the AFC this year for the playoff teams is arguably the most competitive thing that we'll see, that we have seen. Texans are in there right now. Texans are, I would say, I think that I would expect the Texans to be able to beat the Jaguars. So when you go in post, maybe put the Texans above the Jaguars.
9 out of the 16 AFC teams are over 500.
Yeah. Maybe put the Texans above Jaguars in post, because I'm thinking about this now. But Chiefs, never count out Patrick Mahomes unless Kadarius Toney's on the field, in which case count him out.
Count him out. Yes, count him out. Count him out.
Get that thing going.
Count him out if Kadarius is playing. Count him out.
Bills just fucking massacred the Cowboys. Didn't expect that. You did. I didn't. Dolphins are good. Ravens are good. Browns somehow are there with Joe Flacco. I don't understand that. But yeah. Okay. Backup quarterback. So just in case you're including this part, all right. The way this list is working is they have to have started as a backup quarterback on the depth chart. That means behind a player on IR, just behind a player in general. And they also need to have started 1 game minimum. Here we go. 10-1. Taylor Heineke, Easton Stick. I really hope you just use a picture of a fucking hockey stick there. Aiden O'Connell, the Pastronaut, Andy Dalton, Joe Flacco, Jake Browning, Tommy Cutlets, Gardner Minshew, and Will Levis.
Yeah, also for Tommy DeVito, I think I'm just going to put a picture of his agent. I'm not putting Tommy DeVito on there. It's just going to be his agent. Like, that guy, wow. He is a national treasure, okay? We need to keep that man safe at all costs.
Yeah. So, it's a little bit difficult with the way, like, look, Josh Dobbs had 2 great games. Outside of that, he was ass. Aiden O'Connell had 1 great game. Outside of that, he's been not great. Easton Stick, well, it was garbage time, but he didn't do bad. Taylor Heineke's been hurt, but he was good the 1 game that he was starting in. So.
Yeah, I think we could all just agree Gardner's 1. The Colts, I believe.
Will Levis is 1.
Oh, wow. Okay. I think
about that.
I think Gardner might earn that, but that's all right.
Hey, when we were doing this before, you said Will Levis 1. So Will Levis was 1. But if in post you decide, hey, Gardner gets that 1 nod, you can move it around. Okay. I'll give you that authority. You can move it around. I just
feel as if the Gardner Minshew situation, like coming into this season, he was truly under the impression he wasn't playing.
I'll fix this for you too. Ready? And Gardner Minshew. So now,
thank you. That was all I needed. That was actually all I needed. Wait, but there might be an and. There might be an and on.
Well, no, because you
cut it out. I can cut it out. But I'm just talking your cadence. It's all right.
Will Levis.
We'll figure it out. Thank you. Oh, one more time.
Will Levis. Will Levis.
Okay. Oh, all right. We got
Will Levis. Will Levis.
It's done. It's in the past.
You can. All right. Well, with that, thank you guys so much for watching and listening. Rate us 5 stars. You can find us on Spotify, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and on Instagram at Waterboy Pod. Follow me and Grant on Twitter at Everett6 and at Waterboy Grant. We post new TikToks every Tuesday to Sunday, depending on what the deal is. So make sure to follow us there. You don't want to miss any of that. Subscribe to us on YouTube so you won't miss any episodes. Post new episodes every Tuesday and Thursday on all podcast platforms and on YouTube. Like I said, subscribe, turn on notifications so you don't miss any of that. And we'll see you guys in the next episode. Waterboys out.